Hello, can you tell it's me? Hey nerds, welcome back to Read by a Redhead. If you're new here, I'm Martha, the redhead, and I don't normally look like this. So today, hopefully when this video is going up, is Thursday the 4th of March, which is also known as World Book Day. So happy World Book Day, everybody. I adore World Book Day. As a kid, it was one of my favourite days at school. And then when I got older, I became a bookseller in a kids department. So I had 3 years of dressing up at work, which was fantastic. But yes, I decided that this year I would dress up as a character I'm currently loving and also dive back through the characters I've been in the past. So for me, as well as loving dressing up, which I do, any excuse to get me in costume and I'm there, I also just loved World Book Day because it was a day to be a nerd. It was a day when nobody could judge me for dressing as a really obscure character because I just loved them. So I will be diving back into the old characters and why I chose them at that point. Unfortunately, we didn't have smartphones when I was a child. So I asked my parents to look and see if they had any pictures of me dressed when I was little, and neither of them could find any. So you're just going to have to take my word for it that I always went full out on costumes. So first off, we'll start with 2021 and we'll work backwards. So this whole look and my coffee is inspired by Paige Mahoney, who is the main character in the Bone Season series. And I'm so glad she drinks coffee because I really needed some today. So one of the issues I have with characters is that I don't have the ability to form mental images. My thoughts and my brain functions in words. So I remember snippets of descriptions, but I can't picture it. So I generally use like fan art and media to help me put together characters. But for this particular look, I took inspiration from Paige at 2 moments in The Mask Falling, which is book 4 in the series. And the reason I chose Paige is because the way she handles trauma and grows and learns from it, I just think is fantastic. And yeah, it's gone from a book that I read years ago and didn't remember anything about to one of my favourite series. And I just wanted to honour Paige this year. So yes, my actual physical outfit is pieced together from parts throughout the whole series. So for example, Paige always wears a scarf over her face out in public. And like, I don't know if you can hear me right now, but yeah. Hers is red, but I don't own a red scarf. And as this was literally just to sit in my living room, I wasn't spending money this year. She also frequently wears a cap so she can pull it over her face. So together, nobody can really tell who she is. Hello, can you tell it's me? Also, luckily in The Mask Falling, Paige dyes her hair auburn. So natural ginger perks is fantastic. I have attempted to do Paige's jaw scar, which came from a moment in book 2. The necklace is an homage to the necklace that Arcturus gives her. I couldn't remember a description for that one, and I don't have the physical books to flick through. So I just went with kind of a long necklace that looked a bit fancy, because that worked for me. The actual outfit is a white shirt and a charcoal jumper, because at the start of The Mask Falling, when she is leaving the safe house, it says that she digs out a white blouse and charcoal jersey tucked into high-waisted trousers. So that's where I got that from. And then for makeup, I really struggled and I spent ages debating it. And then I remembered this exact moment in later on in The Mask Falling where she is doing like her full armor routine and she uses her makeup and her hair as her armor, which is something I do on a daily basis. So for hair, Paige's hair is naturally bouncy and springy and curly, and at this moment she really treats that. Mine is not. This is fake. Well, the hair's not fake, it's mine. And then on her face it says that she covers up like her blemishes but leaves her scar slightly visible. She uses lamp black grease paint to do her eyes, hence they are like very black and dark. And then it doesn't really say the colour of her lips, but it's kind of implied it's the same group of cosmetics, and it says that she painted her lips with a dark glaze that went on smooth as ink. So I stuck with the theme. However, before I move on to the next character that I did, I need to take some layers off because I'm too warm. Whew, that's better. So going back to 2020, yes, this panorama life started then, but we did squish in World Book Day at Waterstones first, and in 2020 I went as Amelia Fang, and this was actually one of the £1 World Book Day books last year, so I thought it'd be really cool to highlight her as a character. Now, I do have some pictures from World Book Day at work last year, so I will insert it here. I loved this outfit. I genuinely think it's one of the best ones I've done, although having to go out on my lunch break with fangs drawn on my face was something I hadn't thought about. But yeah, it was really nice in that moment to still be able to do World Book Day. You know, we all started to be a bit worried about life and everything that was impending, and having that day at work just to be kids and celebrate was really good fun. My colleague Sam was actually dressed as Simon Snow from Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, and we had a fun day, but we also both had wings and kept hitting each other at work. But the reason I picked Amelia Fang isn't really because she as a character means so much to me now. It's because I wish I'd had her when I was a kid. Because I could totally see baby Martha dressing up as Amelia for Little World Book Day if it had been out. And I just really wanted to highlight how cool this character was. The other reason I chose to do Amelia Fang is to do with my bookseller story. So with Waterstones, there are the children's books of the month, and as a kids bookseller, it's something you're always aware of. You always know what kids book it is. 99% of the time you have read it, and 98% of the time you've really enjoyed it. And when I first joined at Waterstones, it was in the middle of October, and the kids book of the month was the very first Amelia Fang book. So it's something I'm always going to remember, and it's part of the reason that I love this character so much. So going backwards another year, in 2019, I decided to go as Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon. My mum made this outfit for me, so shout out to my mum, because literally fake leather that she's made into a Viking skirt and sash for me. We did have a small argument about the fact that I asked her if she could put like a couple of poppers on it just to look as if they were like spikes, just something to symbolize that, and she turned them into a flower because I'm a girl, and then realized that that was sexist. So she did realize, and she did acknowledge it. It did annoy me a little bit at the time, but I honestly love this outfit, and one of my friends actually had a little Toothless from the films, so I carried around Toothless and I strapped him to my arm. And it was just really good fun. Also, for that World Book Day, my friend Adele at work was dressed as a pirate. I can't remember the name of the pirate, but I know it was from the Johnny Duddle books for little kids. And she looked really cool, but we ended up, as per, having like a little selfie session behind the till. This character, to be honest, is probably the one that I have the least connection with in this video. I had only just listened to the How to Train Your Dragon books. I think I was on book 2 and I've listened up to book 4. But I had seen the films and really liked them. And to be honest, I was just lacking inspiration that year. And I was just lacking a bit of inspiration and sat with my mum discussing possibilities. And I mentioned, well, you know, I could do Hiccup and go Viking. And she was like, well, do it. If you want to, do it. So we did, and I'm really glad because I love that outfit and I do really enjoy the books. I want to finish the series at some point, especially because David Tennant does the audiobooks. So going back to my very first year as a bookseller, for my first World Book Day as a kids bookseller, I went as Clary Fairchild from The Mortal Instruments. And yeah, I'm a redhead. And part of the thing with being ginger is that people expect you to only go as ginger characters. And I know that this is much more of a problem for people of certain races. So I know Asian people really struggle with being stereotyped in that way. But it did bother me a lot, and it always bothered me as a kid. And even my Halloween outfits, I tried to theme around my hair because otherwise people questioned anything I dressed up as. So whenever I found a character who was a redhead, I was instantly drawn to them, and you will see this going right back to me as a small child. But for Clary, I love her. I love the Mortal Instruments, and she's ginger, which is cool. And even more than that, I had like rediscovered how much I loved this series when I became a bookseller, when I got to talk to people about how to read the series, what order, and talk about the new books that were coming out. So of course I went as Clary for my first chance as an adult to dress up for World Book Day. And I did love that outfit, but I will say that, so when I turned up at work, I didn't have any runes drawn on me yet because my colleague Adele was going to be helping me by drawing them on me with eyeliner. So I turned up at work in leather trousers, black leather heeled boots, a black vest top, a black leather jacket, and curly, very tight curly hair. And I got to the top of the stairs and my manager just went, "Are you Sandy from Greece?" And just like, no, I wasn't. No, that was not the intention. And like, I know he didn't mean it in a bad way, but I totally understood what he meant and was just like, is that what everyone has thought while I'm on the metro? Because that's embarrassing. But yes, I did end up with runes drawn on me, and that was such a fun day. We had set up this like reading chair opposite our till, and throughout the day, like kids and adults were coming in and taking like 5-10 minutes just to sit and read. And we ended up taking a break to have a photo shoot, the three of us. So I was Clary, my friend Adele was Annabeth from the Percy Jackson series, and Johnny was Zeus, but specifically Zeus from Who Let the Gods Out by Maz Evans, because that Zeus has retired and he is aged and grumpy and has very much like let himself go. And those pictures are some of my favorites. Like, I loved it and I had such good fun. It was my first taste of experiencing World Book Day as a bookseller and seeing how much of an impact it has on children, and meeting those kids who without the £1 voucher wouldn't be in a bookshop. So I will always remember that fondly. Also, because I don't do anything by half, I made myself a steely or steel, I never know what it's called, but this, oh sorry, there's a hair on it because it was on the floor. This is actually a black candle that I melted and carved all the way around, and then actually carved runes into. So I'm going to try and show you here. So I literally carved the angelic rune into it. I literally just had it sticking out of my pocket all day, but I love this. And oh, cat, you've taken my spot. Thanks, Aria. And it does live on my bookcase with my fancy Cassandra Clare editions, because it's my very own Steely and I made it myself. So that's all for my bookseller World Book Day characters. And unfortunately, there is a very big jump backwards to the last World Book Day characters that I really did. So my secondary school wasn't like a normal secondary school, and we didn't really do World Book Day, which looking back, I'm so disappointed about. So they often did like a book week, but we didn't always have a day. Oh, sorry, there's a hair in my face. We didn't always have a day where we got to dress up, which I was always really disappointed about. We did in my lower 6th year, so when I was 16, 17, my class for English Literature at A-level was in charge of World Book Week, and we made it all fairy tale themed, so each of us went as a different fairy tale character, and I went as Little Red Riding Hood, and again, my mum made this costume, which then ended up getting me issues because everyone thought that it was store-bought, and they were like, oh, you got a store-bought costume. And I was like, no, my mum made this. So yeah, that was kind of my only chance in secondary school. But back in primary school, I went all out, and I very much dedicated it to the characters that I really loved. So I think I may be getting these 3 characters in the wrong order, because I honestly can't remember what year was what. And as I say, my family can't find any pictures, so we don't know. But I'm pretty sure year 6 was the year that I went as Tiffany Aching from The We Free Men, which is also part of Discworld. I was obsessed with this series. Like, so obsessed. And also for me, my dad has always been a huge Terry Pratchett fan. He owns like all like the old tiny Discworld books. And for me, reading this was like my connection to my dad because he loved Terry Pratchett so much as well. And I just loved the character of Tiffany. Somebody who really wants to be something but isn't always very good at it but keeps trying anyway. Like, that is exactly the sort of character that you want children to be looking up to. And I really did. And I really loved Tiffany. So I did home make with my dad a full World Book Day costume for Tiffany Aching. And again, I don't have any pictures, but I'm pretty sure I had like this stripy like linen-y top and this really long maxi-length skirt that I know had pockets. Because the one thing that I do have some photos of are my accessories. So as you'll be able to see from the cover of We Free Men, you have these little people and they are the We Free Men. And so my dad and I butchered a doll. That's the only way I can describe it. We chopped part of its hair off, dyed it red, painted the whole body blue, drew on some swirls for tattoos, then gave it a kilt and a Nintendo DS like stick that we painted silver and gold to look like a mini sword. And I loved this little doll, and it's still at my dad's house, so there should be a picture here for you to see. I loved it, and it was my perfect little MacVeagle to carry around. But again, I don't do anything by halves, so Tiffany also carries sheep liniment, which is described as like this bright green liquid in a glass bottle that is stoppered with wax seal. So we put water in a glass bottle, added green food dye, and then wax sealed the top of it and put a sticker on saying sheep liniment. She also carries a box of tobacco, so I had my box of tobacco. Like, I was so proud of this. Did anyone at school know who I was? No. Did I care? Not in the slightest. So one of the other characters that I absolutely adored as a child was Tonks from Order of the Phoenix and those books. I'm not going to put this one on display just because I don't agree with transphobia. So, yes, I went as Tonks. My sister actually helped me make a skirt. So we had like this old black denim skater skirt of my sister's, and we like tore it up, sewed in a tutu and other scraps of fabric so it like stuck out but looked really punky, because I very much saw Tonks as a punk and as somebody really alternative and not afraid to show who they were. So that was kind of the interpretation of Tonks that I went for. I can't remember what I did with my hair, whether we did spray it a different colour or not. I think we might have just decided that my hair was really bright and she goes for bright colours, so maybe she went for ginger at some point. But I really loved going as Tonks. Yet again, did a single person know who I was? No. Did I care? No. It's a running theme. And actually thinking I might have done this character after Tonks. So Tonks may have been year 4 and this character year 5. I can't remember. But another one I distinctly remember doing as a small child was Alice Cullen from the Twilight series. So no, I didn't do Bella. I didn't do like an Edward or Jacob. I went as Alice because I was obsessed with Alice. And I have to admit, I may not have liked Midnight Sun, but it did make me love Alice even more. It stuck with me. And this was such a fun outfit. And yes, it definitely came after Tonks because I used the same skirt, which I actually continued to use for fancy dress costumes till I was like 16 and it was falling apart. But that's a side note. But yes, I went as Alice Cullen, and again, I used this proper punky skirt because, again, I saw Alice as a character unafraid of being quirky and being different, and those were the qualities I aspired towards as a small child. I do remember that we got a like really cheap and nasty black wig, and I had really long hair as a kid. I think it was down here at the time. So we like plaited it and my sister had to pin it and everything. And I had this really awful black wig on, but I was chuffed because it was like Alice's hair. And then the creme de la creme of this outfit was I was going to school. in the sunlight. Well, it's the northeast in March, so not bright sunlight, but there was sunlight. So I went glittery. I really took sparkly vampires and ran with it. And I remember, I think it was like body glitter or something just rubbed all over me so that all my body was like shimmery and sparkly. And I bloody loved it. I was so proud. So that's all for the books I have here. The other one I really wanted to give an honourable mention to was, I think I must have been in like year 2. Like definitely young primary school age. And I went as Madeline from the Ludwig Bemelmans book. And I loved this character to an extreme level. And this is definitely what I was saying about being ginger. And I know it sounds stupid to say there wasn't ginger representation, but there wasn't. Like, there weren't ginger characters to look at. There were blondes, there were brunettes. There wasn't gingers. And when I was really little, I got gifted the Madeline book and became obsessed. I had all the dolls. I had an actual doll house. I've got all the different books. I've seen every film and TV show there is. I still have all of this in my mum's loft. And so for one of the World Book Days when I was little, my mum helped me put together a Madeline costume. So I had the little yellow hat, I had the blue coat with the little bit like the little red bit sticking out here. And I thought it was amazing. The hat was a bit of a pain, I will admit, but it was absolutely fantastic. And for me, this was a character I had looked up to for years and had been obsessed with for years. So actually getting to like be her for a day, I absolutely loved. And very much to me, that is kind of my earliest memory of World Book Day. It's my earliest memory of going into school with my book, because we always had to take the book that we were going from to show it was a book. And going in with my Madeline book and being like, this is who I am, she's on the cover. And also because those books are like picture books, they're illustrated, so I could show that she looks like this and so do I. And I absolutely loved it. And it was also at a time in my life where I was getting heavily bullied for being ginger. So being able to go in and highlight that there was this ginger character who was an absolute badass that I was going as really meant a lot to me. So yeah, those are kind of my World Book Day characters throughout the years. I really wish I had more pictures, and my parents are both separately convinced that they have them somewhere, but I, to be honest, only asked them a few days ago, and we have lives. I didn't want to make them dig through lofts just for this video. But if I do find them, I promise you I will give you embarrassing pictures of me dressed as obscure characters. But yeah, please do let me know in the comments any like World Book Day character that you've gone as before that you particularly loved. Or if there's one you'd really like to go as. Like, there are quite a few characters on my shelves that I am like, one day I will do that. So yeah, that is all from me today. Thank you so much if you've made it all to the end. As usual, please do like and subscribe. It would really help me out. And I will see you very, very soon for some more bookish content. Bye.